Okay, hey everyone, Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here on our Thursday afternoon. Been crazy, but not a lot really going on here locally. I'm based out of Tampa, but a lot going on in and around the office here, the station. So I have been off of the lead coverage a little bit for you here, but now we've got watches and warnings up in parts of the Northeast. So let's get back on it. Right off the top, the good news is I don't think this is going to be terrible for most folks up there. So that's the good news. Now, let's get over to the satellite, right? Let's just start with that. Show you basically what we're looking at. Here it is. Well, there, there it is right there, right? You can see, notice what's happening. Look how much of this is spread. The center's down here southwest of Bermuda. See that? Look where the tops of the clouds are. They're already up over Nova Scotia, right? This is part of an old frontal boundary, but some of this part right here that's east of New Jersey, that's part of the hurricane. There's a lot of southwesterly wind shear on this, spreading this thing out. So there's been wind shear, there's been drier air, there's been cooler water, there's been all kinds of different things that are fighting against this. It's still trying to do its best here to get going, but it's actually been falling apart, and that trend will continue. So let's head over to the computer here. First of all, let's talk about Lee. I'll get that out of the way. Margot, I'm not going to worry about. It's going to do a loop-to-loop out here and then go out. This is Invest 97, which I think I'm going nuts because I thought it started as 98. Maybe it did, but it's 97 for sure. I didn't know that they changed, so I'm just nuts. But anyways, regardless, it's headed to the northwest, and I'll talk briefly about that. Let's get in here on Franklin. Or excuse me. Yes, I am crazy. Lee. 85-mile-per-hour wind, so it's really coming down right now. I wanted to show you this so you get an idea from Miami, from Tampa, from Jacksonville, just how far offshore it is, and even the Outer Banks and down east parts of low country of South Carolina, eastern North Carolina right now. It's way offshore. A little bit of a breeze, but more surf than anything else out there. Surf and some really good swell. There it is, moving to the north now at 14 miles per hour. Pressure's up to 957. There's the track. I put the track in here, and you can see the center should go somewhere in the middle of this line, this cone right here, right? So the center with the highest winds will stay offshore. There's the Cape. There's, say, Bar Harbor's right about there. The center could be kind of close to that. But you're on the left side anyways, the west side, which usually has less wind. Now, let's talk about the track. This is the latest track as of about 2 o'clock. And you can see that it does continue to decrease the winds. Tomorrow morning's 80-mile-per-hour winds. Saturday morning, 75-mile-per-hour winds. Barely a hurricane, but that's when it's moving by. Okay, let's zoom in here real close. You can see by Saturday morning, the center is already almost due east of Boston, almost. So that means if you're getting preps done in this area, you need to have those done by sunset tomorrow, sunset on Friday. Halifax right in here. You can see the southwestern tip of Nova Scotia. I think that's where the center ends up really more than anything else. Now, here are the forecast models. And you'll notice that most of these are hugging, and they've been doing this yesterday too, right along the right side of the Hurricane Center forecast track, right? The forecast is right here on the left side of all of that. So the models are coming. They do all kind of do that turn to the left, but they're doing it a little bit further offshore. So here are the watches and warnings, tropical storm watches from Portland southward, including the Boston area. And what that means is we could see winds above 39 miles per hour by, 48 hours. We're really talking Friday night and Saturday, right? We could. Now, hurricane watch up here from Portland all the way up to Canada, basically. All those areas right along the immediate coast, including Bar Harbor, they have a hurricane watch. That means hurricane conditions are possible. Doesn't mean that they are certainly going to happen. It means, hey, look out. We've got the chance of seeing winds above 74 miles per hour, above 73. Now, there is a tropical storm warning on the Cape, all right, eastern part of Massachusetts. That was the blue there. This is the estimated wind field, okay? Now, watch as we move through tomorrow night. This is Friday at 11 p.m. Here comes some of the winds, right? Just getting that. Martha's Vineyard is right there. And then the Cape is right up there. There's Nova Scotia, right? Now, so that means Friday at 11 p.m. the winds start to pick up. Now, notice Maine, Boston, right on the cusp by 8 o'clock Saturday morning. But when the sun starts to come up here, well, the sun's up real early there. Saturday morning, the winds will start to pick up here. Look where the highest winds are out here. You see the red? That's hurricane force winds, right? This orange is basically winds over 58 miles per hour. And most of that will stay offshore. Now, this is a northeast wind that will turn to the north and northwest, and that will pile water. It's coming down, right? So it's going to pile water up there. But notice how the storm is shrinking, or at least the winds are decreasing. The storm overall size will actually get bigger, which it's already doing. But the wind field is what I'm referring to. We'll get a little bit bigger, and then again, those inner high winds will fall apart. So it's Friday night, Saturday night, and then it's done. All right? Now, here's the tropical wind force probability, an actual percentage. So you're looking at Boston right there, right? The fact that you could see maybe a 10%, 10 to 15% chance that you get tropical storm force winds. That's not a lot. And even tropical storm force winds aren't bad. Obviously, the highest percentages are out here. And to my point, this is Friday at 8 p.m., the onset of those winds. So that's why I say sunset Friday, have all your preps ready to go, because look, if they do come up, they're coming up, 11 o'clock Friday night. Same thing up here in the Maine. The coast, 8 a.m., have everything done. I would still do it by Friday night. I've had all the preps done by Friday night. And you can see the color coding here in the middle. Obviously, this is where the best chance of seeing any tropical storm force winds is. And that's 39 to 73 mile per hour winds. And it's probably closer to 39 to 55 mile per hour winds. So storm surge, we do have some watches in the area. We actually have the watch here for eastern Massachusetts, of course. All of this pink you see is a watch. 2 to 4 foot surge, and I'm going to show you some numbers here. It's generally in here. It's a couple spots in here. This does not look terrible to me. 1 to 3 to the north, 1 to 3 to the south, and then it drops off a little bit as you go further off towards the south and the west. This is tough to see, but let me zoom in here, and I'm going to go right into Boston here. As far as storm surge goes, you see some of these blues in here? That's showing maybe about a foot, and I could say 1 to 2 in some of those areas, right? And these are basically all the rivers that just go right up in there. This is nothing kind of new. You get a good nor'easter, you get the higher water levels. That's what we're talking about. Now, there's some spots here near Ferry Hill, near Ferry Hill, that are going to see a little bit more water in them. You see that? Yellow is indicating 1 to 3 foot of surge. Okay, and it's pretty typical for a type of nor'easter weather, really, to be honest with you. Barnstable down here, you can see that, and then you get up here, a couple of these little rivers right in here, these little creeks more than anything else, will fill up. Remember, the water is pouring in from the north-northeast, so it's moving southward to fill up in that area. I did show over here into Long Island, New York City, just because of the fact, we had Sandy. This is not anything like that at all. We're all looking good. My buddy George living in Long Beach. What's up, George? All right, here's the forecast model. This is the European model. You can see the storm moving in. At the same time we're looking at this, I want to show you this briefly. I'm getting off here. See that? That's 97L. So there goes, up at the top goes Lee's out of the way. There's Bermuda. There's 97L. That would be Nigel. N-I-G-E-L is the next name on the list. And then you can see by a week from tomorrow, it's moving by Bermuda and then recurving out to sea. All right, that's the European forecast model. This is the GFS. Here we go. You can see Bermuda, a little black dot right there in the middle. The GFS actually goes just to the east of Bermuda and then takes it out to the north and the east. All right, so looking pretty good, I think, at this particular point. Let me just show you a couple things on the models real fast, and then I'll get you out of here. This one. I think this is the button that I want. Yeah. So these are the ensembles that you're seeing here. All right, for the GFS, and you can see for 97L. Okay, this is there's Bermuda right in here. So this is the second wave that we're following way down there, and it makes the turn. Almost every single one of them are doing that. So that's good news. Just to reconfirm, oh, I lost it. Yep, I did lose it, but that's okay. Just to reconfirm the chances for tropical storm, we'll be watching another wave coming off of Africa over the next week, and we'll be watching this little area down here near South America. And other than that, I think things are going to be doing pretty good, guys. All right, so there we are right now. Basically, if you are in that area up in the Northeast, yeah, Boston, the Cape northward and up into Maine, you want to be keeping an eye on this. Have any kind of preps that you need to do done by sunset on Friday. I don't think this is terrible, but I do think it's something to get prepped for because, 1 to 3 foot surge for most areas along the coast, 1 to 2, that's not terrible. 2 to 4, Martha's Vineyard and just to the north there, that's a decent amount of water. So those areas will really want to watch it. But most areas, I mean, if you're just inland, you don't live right on the coast, it's going to be a breezy Friday night and Saturday morning. And a little breezy, probably on the backside Saturday afternoon. But that's just about it. Okay, guys, have a good one. Tried to make it a short one. I never do.